Hey, what up, everybody? It says that we are live.
Mhm.
It's New Age Ja and the Majestic Magi,
Hey,
aka Marcy.
hey
And we're
everyone.
so happy to be here together. And our energy was just doing this whole like titillating thing in the back scene, right? We were just like, and I'm like, yo, this energy is lit. I'm so glad that like
Yeah, I
you're.
feel a lot in my heart right now. Yeah.
Mm. I
Hmm.
I love that like you stepped up and you came forward and you're like, hey, what up? I'm like, I want to do like this chat because I was like yesterday. I was like feeling a little like desperate, like in a panic, because I had this a profound conversation with a really good friend of mine who is at physical distance to me. But when every time we collaborate, which is every so often because we both have so much going on, a little bit of feelings to spread, right? When we do come together, it's always so profound and life changing because this is someone who knows me inside and out. So I'm like, I have all of these questions and I have a lot to say, but I need like a brilliant mind to talk to about it. Someone
Yeah.
who's strong enough in their beliefs, someone who's strong enough in their system who could really challenge what it is that I have to say and allow me the opportunity to really springboard and talk. And I think you are the perfect vessel
Oh wow, thanks.
for this conversation because I have a feeling I'm gonna learn more than I could ever put in because I want to learn. I'm curious about some things, you know.
Yeah, I love learning all the time. I know what you're saying because we could sometimes when we're in our own space and you're having all these conversations in your head and you're like, oh my God, I gotta call somebody and talk about this. But
Mhm.
but even when you're doing readings, a lot of times I tell people it's like, oh, we do this together. Like I don't ever want people, you know what I mean? It's like we're opening a clear channel together. It's like you can still do readings with for somebody who's closed off per se, but if there's an equal, if you're allowing somebody in your energy field and there's an equal exchange of that energy, that it's kind of like it's the ever flow circle. It's, you know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
just boom, 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 and then all of a sudden you're like, what the heck just happened? It's like you got time zapped out.
Mm, I love that. And again, you know, vibration matters. So
Hmm.
your frequency has to be able to even hold the type of space that was intended. You know what I'm saying?
True, true.
So holler down the echo chamber and this beautiful sound came forward. Like, oh, okay. So here we are. Marcy, I really want to get to know you. We chatted a little bit back there, but I didn't really get to ask you like any questions, you know? And so if you would allow me, I would like to just get to know you a bit and feel free to like shoot in, ask your own questions, you know. But first, I'm
Sure.
curious. So I know you did a live with the neighborhood hope dealer. That was awesome. And
Yeah.
I liked the two of you's dynamic. And your fluidity is noticeable. It's quite impressive. Well, does the fish go this way or does it follow the stream? Or does the stream follow the fish or does it go its own way? And it's like, she's like, bitch, I'm the stream and the fish. And I was like, yeah, I'm like,
I
all
just show
right,
up. I
yeah,
just show
okay.
up. I just show up. I have like no agenda. I just show up and I'm like, okay, I'm all in.
Perfect.
Whatever comes out, comes out.
It's glorious. So
Thank you.
what I remember is that like you're a triple water sign.
Hmm.
So can you tell me what those placements are and everybody in the chat? What up to everybody in the chat though?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Um, Pisces Sun, Cancer Moon, and Scorpio Rising.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that Scorp kicks me in the ass, man, I think.
You know, no, it kicks you in the ass because you don't want to kick anybody else's. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I've dropped a few chains the last
I'm
what
not
year or
I
so.
wouldn't doubt it.
Mama's dropping some chains and taking some names for sure. But in my way,
I'm
you
with
know.
it. I'm with yeah, in your own way. Yeah, for sure. And
Hmm.
that can
Yeah.
it can surprise us in the manner that it could manifest because it could be like, wait, hold on, what just happened? How did she do
Oh,
that? So,
well. I think I'm full of surprises nonetheless.
Okay, love it. Please. So, if I were to have all three water placements as my top three, I believe I would want them in that positioning.
Well, I'm not, I think you probably heard me say it before, I'm not really an astrologer. I think I can kind of, I figure a little stuff out along the way, or I think somehow, I know I was talking with the peace dealer before, and I was like, somehow I channel the astrology, but I really don't, like when I'm looking at that, like if I'm looking at an actual chart, I probably know enough to get by. But it seems like whenever I was listening to him on the lives, that um, I was just probably randomly having a conversation with somebody, and then all of a sudden I would hear him saying, I was like, dang, that's what's going on. Like, so it was kind of equally as surprising to me. But
Mhm,
what's your
mhm.
big three, Ja?
No, he really does have the ability to like surprise factor you. You're like, oh shit, like I wouldn't have thought of that if I weren't here and listening to this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, surprise factor. So surprise factor is good. The placements, I mean, so it's just like the gist of it. So if the rising sign is your body, your life path, okay. Every sign has a light side, a dark side. So depending on the sign itself,
I think that's why I
having
wore this T-shirt. Balance is key. Can you see
oh,
it?
there we go. The light side and the dark
It's
side.
red.
hmm
Huh?
I I love it. It's root chakra. Every sign has a light and a dark side. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to look at that sign individually and say, does it function better in the dark or does it function better in the light? And then I would look at all three of those signs in that same element, be like, what do I want to exude first off? Do I want to exude like white light energy, or do I want to emanate something a little bit more mysterious and dark? Okay. So if I wanted to remain a little bit more mysterious and dark and a little bit more inconspicuous, I'm like, okay, then who would I want to appear as then?
I'm usually incognito. Like I like to be kind of incognito. Right.
Scorpio does not want to be found. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
it's like you can probably get away with a little bit more shit with a Scorpio rising. And then when it comes to sun and moon, well, the moon is in its dominant position with Cancer. And a Pisces moon would probably carry me far too much away. Having it as the sun is like this solar ray and essence of Pisces that is awake. It's a light energy. So the light energy of Pisces is a very high vibration, very beautiful and light filled. And then you have this gorgeous moon, Cancer, reflecting this Pisces energy even more so. So it's like boom, super extra power. So if it were to be the other way around, Pisces moon might fuck with Cancer way too much to the point where she just wouldn't be able to focus and concentrate. So your alignment allows for like proper distribution of the energies, although it's all water. You do pretty well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do feel like I kind of do balance it out pretty good, even when I am feeling off balance in
Mhm.
a way, because I want to say that I think there's equal fire. There's equal fire and water somewhere in my chart too.
Um, so rising moon mid have so where's your Venus and your Mars?
I think it's Venus and Aquarius or Venus and Aries, I think.
And your Mars?
Mm, I don't I don't know. I want to
Your
say
Mars
I
placement
know I got a lot of Aries. I think I there's a lot of Aries in my chart and
uh
a lot of
mhm.
Aries past life Libra Libra what's the south and the north?
Yep.
Libra's the death or Libra's Aries is the past life and
Mhm.
Libra's the yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Huh. Really interesting. So you're like a steamy quality
But
then.
I almost want to think that Mars is in Aries too.
Oh,
I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that, but I think it is. I
wow.
do
So
think I
that
have a
is like,
Mars in Aries.
with the
I
South Node there. I mean,
I
that
think I
is
do. I'm pretty sure. I don't have my chart before me. but I'm pretty sure I do.
This
But if
is
I'm lying on that, I will definitely let you know. But
no.
if I'm remembering off the top of my head,
Oh,
from what I remember on the chart, I think that it is Mars and Aries.
okay. So let's say you are Mars and
Hmm.
Aries with South Node there, K2 there. That really extra blows up that Aries quality that you have. It's actually who you truly are. All of this water stuff, which is why it's so easy. It's not always because the pain in the ass to balance the energies because who you truly are is fire underneath it all. You're somehow cloaking yourself with water. Amazing. Without putting out your own flame. Maybe you have a couple of times, but it comes back, you
Yeah,
know.
true. Yeah.
Mhm. Steamy. Okay, so you're actually fire. That's right. Nice. And then you're learning to integrate air now so that you can fuel your own fire. Get it bigger. Maybe get a little less of that water away. But water is helpful, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so okay, beautiful. So what is it? So you asked me my big three. I'm a Cancer
Oh yeah.
sun, I'm a Leo rising, and a Virgo moon.
Okay. How does that Virgo moon serve you? I mean, what is the what's the significance of the Virgo moon for you? I guess I would say. Sorry. May I
Well,
ask what? I'm curious. I'm
yeah,
curious because
my
I.
tell me why. Yeah, why are you curious?
Oh no, I'm just curious. Well, because the Virgos are very what do they say? Virgos is the balance, right? Or very orchestrated and stuff, or
Mm.
and well, organized and things like that, right? So, but how does that serve in the emotions?
That's actually really grand that you put it that way because if Libra is the bridge between worlds, Virgo is essentially that cutoff because it's the
Okay.
sixth sign, right? Out of 12. So that's like right where it cuts off. Interesting. And so that's a hefty price for Virgo a little bit because all the refinement and the revisiting has to be done in Virgo in a way. So if Virgo is a checkpoint at this point to get over the bridge Libra, then down into the underworld Scorpio to be reborn Sagittarius in some way. I don't know. Michael has a really cool way of putting this. This is just my little minuscule understanding of it in that light. Um, but if I
I
lost.
think you're great at the explanations. I guess I don't even know why I asked you that.
Oh,
I
so
was just,
yeah.
it was
So
kind of it was just interesting because I like the way that you explain things too.
well,
But like as far as I know, like I said, as far as I know about Virgo or what Virgos are, well, I guess what they would say in the sun sign or would be the organization and that. So the
mhm.
balance of the emotions, but then how does that play into how, I mean, how you just broke me down. So I'm asking, how does it
Yeah,
fuel,
it's
how
like
does everything fuel you and
it's like
fuse you together?
it's a I think it's a checks and balances system. If
Hmm.
Libra is the scale, then I think Virgo is like putting everything in its place before it even gets weighed on the
Hmm.
scale. So it's a lot of assessment, a lot of assessing, reassessing. If Cancer likes to revisit, having the Cancer energy only makes me revisit and like want to perfect those steps moving forward, you know? So it's a constant need to realign and perfect, which is a lot of stress on the
Yeah.
system.
Well, I love your energy. I mean, I guess I would say, Job, if I'm when I'm think okay, like when I see you on those videos and stuff, it's almost like like energetically, I just see you kind of like levitating. You know, you're just like free flowing it in that sense, if that makes sense. But if I'm looking at you, if I'm kind of looking at you just energetically, it's like I just see you, not I just you just it's like a calm, like a you can just like levitate, float through anything kind of thing. And it's very it feels very calming and peaceful. So probably even if you're not feeling that way, that's I don't know if anybody else can sense that or feels that energetically from you, but that I mean, I think that that's cool. Like and so
Well, what's happening is that like I can't necessarily take too much credit. I can't take credit for that in particular because the nervousness of my body is the need to actually bring itself in alignment. And
Mhm.
when I bring myself in alignment, then the stillness or the purity or the light can channel through, but my vessel is still like humming in a way. You know what I mean? But the aura of that takes precedence. And so I guess there's like a little bit of a split there, but not so much.
Yeah. Well, it's always feels free flowing to me.
Thank you for that. That's actually soothing because
Mhm.
the Virgo moon is critical, you know? It's like it sees how things can be corrected naturally. And so it can kind of give you a little bit of a pessimistic bent to things, not in joy or anything, but in assessment. You see I don't know, it's interesting. You pick them up eventually, and who really wants to deal with all these details all the time that can really distort your reality and interaction with others? Like, if you just put those fucking things aside, like, you could actually enjoy yourself right now. So,
Yeah, and then maybe I think that has a lot to do with it too, is like thinking too much about stuff, and a lot of times they're just, um, when you just go through, when you're just your actual self, it's like sometimes we don't even have the right words to say, well, how in the hell did you do that? I don't know. I'm just me. Because maybe if we put too many stamps on trying to perfect it all, you know what I mean?
right. Yeah. It's also one of the guidelines for me is to actually not take that eye upon myself, but use it externally. Like it's supposed to be used externally, but someone or anyone, they need to come to me and ask me to use this discernment, to use this vision, to use this quality, you know? And I don't know, if it doesn't get used in the right way, it flips back onto myself. It's in odd. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens, you know?
Right.
Hmm. Okay. So,
Do you have a son? Are you gonna have another baby? I I don't know, that just came to me. So I was just I don't know.
well, interestingly enough, I don't have a boy. I have three girls.
Mhm.
But I always say that I'm done having children. But I always say I think I have one more space
More
for a boy.
One more left.
There's
Yep.
only
So
one.
you choose, maybe a couple years down the line.
Right.
About a
I feel
year and a
six.
half, close to 2 years if you decide. Maybe.
I was hoping more for like six, but maybe sooner rather than later. I have no idea. But only for a boy is only if it's for my son out there, if I have one.
I do believe you. I
But
do
you
believe you will.
my sister hit me up the other day. She's like, Ja, I don't know. I just like she has like her own abilities since child. She's like, Ja, like she never tells me about her dreams. She hits me up with a dream. She's like, I saw you pregnant in my dream last night. She's like, I think you're gonna have that boy. And I was like, hey, stop it, because I joke around with it, but I don't know.
Hmm.
But no,
There's validation then, because she just said it to you. So, yeah.
that's just a thought. That's just it's nice to know that it's a possibility and that it could definitely be a thing.
Well, he's beautiful. If you so choose.
I
He's
bet
beautiful.
I'm gonna like melt to the floor like a puddle of mush. Like someone's gonna have to come like scoop me up from the floor and
That's cool stuff.
right. That yeah, I don't know. Stop it. Okay.
So, how do you experience spirit? I guess maybe I could ask.
All the time. Um, it's happening all the time because I gave up my vessel and my life experience to please and like worship and serve God. And so like
Hmm.
every grain of me entails that. So there's always an active pressure if you would. But he comes through now very easily, even when I don't even ask. sometimes. But if I tend to like open up my vessel with like teas and lavender oil, a little bit of THC or CBD, and relax my vessel, spirit automatically thinks that's an invite. Cause why else are you doing that? He's like, I know you're coming to talk to me, right? You're stilling yourself, like, so let me come. And so, he comes in through anytime I'm relaxed and in position. It doesn't matter. I don't need anything as long as I just sit down. The moment I just sit, he's like, bling, hi. And I'm like, okay. And so that can do many different things. Sometimes he has to come in and clear and make space, and I do. So there's a lot of pressure, a lot of shaking, a lot of tense action, and everything kind of pushes out like that. That's how he comes in. And he'll correct my posture if I have to. Straighten me up, wiggle me out, loosen me up. You know, that's how he first initially like begins to enter the Holy Divine Spirit. And then first it's like a knock, dook, crown gets open. I was like, ah, it's like a little thing. Then that's when all that comes in. Now I'm erect. And then I open my eyes and he comes through. Sometimes in mid conversation he'll just come through like a punch in my gut and like, oh, fuck. There's a point of tension here that I'm about to bring up now, you know what I mean? Now I'm about to flip it on you, fuck, you know? And then I have to push through that contention.
Right.
How I know I'm going through it is like this therapeutic pressure almost, because the more I release, the better I feel. And then then all sorts of emotions carry and pass, but I've learned how to hold not barrier, just bound time and space. So I can be open to your energy, but not know how to absorb it. So I can be active in that nature. And so there's this play going on here with balancing, right? Ego's somewhere in the background viewing. So in order to keep that in check, I'm always aware and constantly aware of the solar plexus. What is it doing? How involved am I? Like, is this connected to here or is it free flowing, you know? And so I'm a visionary. So I can do visual long distance healing. I can manipulate energy very easily. Also through sound and my voice.
Almost hypnotic, the frequency, yeah.
It does different things. It's really interesting. And so sound, I suppose, and frequency, and then again, the energy manipulation. I can do like psychic surgery, but more so like on your body. So
That's
like,
cool stuff. That is very cool stuff. I did a reading for this surgeon. It was a couple of years ago. And it's kind of I could see. I was asking him, actually, I was doing a reading for him, but I was asking him because I could see when he was actually on when he was operating on somebody, and then a lot of the surgeons, they'd listen to their music or whatever. And I was asking him, I could see him listen to the music, but then when the body was under anesthetics, I could see almost, in the best analogy I have for that is kind of like that movie Ghost, when the shadows were running, like the little gremlins were running. That's what, and that's what I seen. And I was asking him about it. I was like, you don't tell nobody this. I was like, you don't say nothing about this. And I said, that's psychic surgery. But I never knew nothing about psychic surgery at all, or in any connotation about that, except for when I read for that man. And then he kind of like looked at me and his eyes got big. And I was like, you realize that that's just like, you're just naturally doing that. You know what I mean?
100%.
But it was,
No, 100%. Like, this is what I've said, is that a lot of psychics are working are in higher positions or in normal positions doing normal work, but doing psychic work. All of it.
And think about it, just like, I guess just like in your, I guess when they're under anesthetics or just in your sleep or your sleeping state, that would be where that spirit's most, the soul body's most, open and ready for that type of healing.
Yeah.
So not, I mean,
Wow.
that's a prime example of a double mission there, isn't it? That's so very cool.
That's incredible. A little
It's very
scary,
cool.
serious job. That is someone that I suppose this is why there's the good
Mhm.
doctors are so highly respectable. When they walk in a room, you're like, oh, because
Yeah,
the
that,
work that they're
yeah.
doing is multi-dimensional.
That's so,
Amazing.
yeah. I was blown back by that, to be honest, because like that's kind of how things happen to, or new experiences like that happen to me is almost through readings. A lot of times
Oh,
I'll be like, whoa, I didn't even know. I mean, I like cutting cords and burning cords and Reiki and all that stuff, but actual psychic surgery, I was like, well, you're doing psychic surgery. But then I never really researched psychic surgery, you
okay,
know?
so there's a severity to psychic surgery as where I was more so pertaining to the body. So
Mhm.
the body isn't as intrinsic as the psyche. You know what I mean? The body is a
Okay.
lot more simple. The organs, the system is very easy to see. And so it's much
Hmm.
easier to work with the body than it is the psyche and the mind. So it's more so like psychic surgery onto the body. The mind, I do that in a different way. I don't.
Oh,
The mind, I
yeah.
do that more so through conversion, because that's exhaustion and that can be invasion, and it's so much easier if the other person releases it instead of you going in and extracting it. Because sometimes the process has to be a slow release. You can't if something's in your skin and it's been in your skin for a long time, your skin grows around it and attaches itself to it. You just can't
Right.
go in and like yank it out. You can go and cut it out, but Jesus Christ, you could have like
Yeah.
massaged it. You could have did something. You got to like easily like work this object out. And so sometimes this
The
type of
plus, well, energetically, it probably will send you like in a shell shock in a way, because is that what you're saying? Because
yeah, for sure.
even with the downloads and everything, it's like if
For both
you know.
people, for both folks, that's I think
Mhm.
a strong hit. It's like pulling a cord on something. It's interesting. It's like it's doable. Like people who perform exorcism, it's like plug, plug, plug. But ugh, that
Mhm.
energy is heavy. So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, what are we doing here? How many surgeries do you do in a week? Not many. I don't think you're allowed to do like right. I don't know, right? So who knows? So much you can give, right?
True. That's true.
So. Okay, so very interesting. So you do Reiki, you do shadow work healing,
I was no shadow work healing myself in the moment.
and a lot of your like your higher spirit and self is always doing the work. It's always active.
Mhm.
And some
Somehow, yeah, somehow it seems like somehow that I unlock parts to like people's, or I'm giving the gift. It's not me doing it, of course. All glory goes to spirit, divine spirit. That I somehow can unlock parts of people that, or the root causes, but also open doors in that sense, like the Akashics or something. But it seems like it's almost like I can unlock pieces of them, maybe to bring them to their next level.
yes,
That's what it feels like when I'm actually reading for people. I mean, it's
that's
kind of
what it
like,
feels like. Yeah,
hmm
for sure.
like I can catapult them to their next.
And that's like extremely like purifying. That's a big
Hmm.
pressure release. That's like skyrocket almost.
Hmm. Yep. Because I've even, or sometimes, yeah, I channeled. I don't know. It's like it's weird. It's just weird how it happens. Or, but as you're moving forward through the energy, I'm like, well, I think I don't even. It's almost like I'm so humble in it. I was like, I think that this just happened, but yeah, no, it happened. You know what I mean? And you're moving through the energy. It's kind of very interesting. But something different happens every time, which I'm sure probably not to speak for you, but that's the best part about the work that we have the opportunity to do. You know.
Yeah, I mean, the best part sometimes for me, I wonder, is it like a form of like escapism, or is it, do I really just want to bond and love with God and just be with God, because that's all that really matters to me, you know? So these, like, I bump into this question, not, I know what the real answer is, you know what I'm saying? But I'm
Mhm.
still in the human body. So I'm like, am I neglecting some shit right now and trying to figure it out, you know?
I think I neglect the human part of me because the like I'm always probably that could be the Pisces thing or whatever, but it's like I'm always in that world. It's hard for me to not be in that world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're always like,
I
that's like
like
your higher self is always active. It's always like knitting and
mhm,
weaving. It's always like doing something. Like,
yeah.
it's always like, that's how I see it. It's always very active in the background. Like, it could be the most mundane of things. Like, it could, your higher self can just be like knitting. It's just like, I see like weaving tapestries. Like,
Mhm,
it's like creating space, or like um soft ground to fall on, and the ethereal, you like kind of like powder and soften the impact too as well. You do like this really softening thing, soothing thing. You kind of take the pressure off of it. You're a weaver of sorts that helps like clear the way. It's really like, and it's always active, like doing its job. It takes great pride in it. It's very still, consistent, but there is intensity and like a will and a desire and a euphoria in there. And then when it's time to stop, you do stop, right? If
mhm,
you ever do, or you slow down and you go through whatever you do, you know,
mhm.
but that's how the energy is sensed.
Yeah, very unique in essence.
So I like that it's soothing. I didn't realize how like motherly it was, because at first, to be honest with you,
Mhm.
before I even like saw you, just by seeing your post, you want to know how old I thought you were?
Hmm.
Do you want to know? Am I being inappropriate?
No, not at all. Go ahead. I don't care about age
You
at all.
have the energy. You had the energy of like a 24-year-old. I thought you were like 24. I thought you were younger than me.
Nope, I'm 44.
But I'm saying this is the
Mhm.
end. This is me like just like tapping into your
Oh
energy
yeah.
and just like, oh, just feeling the energy. I was like, ah, this seems
Mhm.
like a really youthful. Like, I literally thought that you were young.
Mhm.
Like, oh, look, her energy is really like, it's youthful and young, and a part of you is like young forever in a way. Like,
Mhm. Yeah,
really,
I do. My heart's very jovial.
okay,
Like
and forgiving.
I'm a big old kid, but I can be. I think I said it when I was talking to the piece, our neighborhood hope dealer. I can. Yeah, I'm just a big kid, but I know when to be serious and when to, But I like those jovial parts. I'll play, or I like to play games and stuff, or or just joking and stuff like that. And
Yes, can
but
you
then I
show
could get,
me?
but then I'm serious too. But
Yes, yeah,
you know what I mean. So I think
and
there's
I
equal
like
balance
that.
of it,
Mhm.
huh?
I like that. I like that you can put things in its place, and that like
Mhm.
you can draw a line real quick. I like that. It's like, ooh,
Mhm.
ah,
Mhm.
I love it.
Yep.
Sting me a little bit. I love like, I'm like Scorpio. I'll be like, Scorpio, just sting me right here, right here. You missed. Um. Uh.
Under the undercover steam, the ninja steam.
I love it. I'm like, yes, give it to me, darling. Uh, I forgot what I was gonna say, because the youthful energy, the maternal energy that you carry, getting
Mhm.
on, I was like, why do I feel like this is like mom energy? Like, it's like,
Mhm.
wait a minute. Like, I feel like I gotta approach you with the respect of like some like this beautiful energy that can put me right into its place, or that I should naturally be in place for, you know? Um, so that was a surprising turn, meeting your energy. So, in regards to your belief systems,
Mhm.
can you tell me why you're here doing the things that you're doing, and why, you know,
I just do me. I've always been drawn, you know what I mean? It's kind of was just always, I'm here to help people and bring people to peace, you know what I'm saying? That's my intent. My intent is to bring people peace And mostly I always stick up for the underdog too, big time, because I think that there's so many people that have this big old voice, or they've suffered so much trauma, you know what I mean? And or the it always seems like, even when I was in high school or growing, even when I was little, like, the kids that got made fun of and things like that. I always was the shy kid, but I always had a thing where I wanted to rescue, or I could understand them. I could maybe I could feel their hearts, I could feel their emotions. Um, I didn't always necessarily know how to help them, but I think a lot of times when we're just your raw energy or your raw emotion pushing out, or actually the sense that you can actually feel that, or this is you're actually casting love to that person, in the sense of where that's kind of like the blind faith or the surrender, in a sense. But I've always had a calling sort of for the underdog in a way. Like, I'll stick up for what's right. You know what I mean? I don't like people lost and lonely, or um, abused or mistreated and things like that. And I know everybody goes through their things, but it's almost like, if I could just scoop everybody up and help them all, I would. But it also led me into the medical field and things like that. And when I worked in the medical field, a lot of times I would lay hands on people when I worked in the hospital. Um, and sometimes I could only be in the room for so long, if it was somebody that was really in bad shape, you know what I mean? And then I would, like, kind of hold space for them and send love to them while I was in there. And then I would step outside the door, and and then you have to be able to detach. That was always hard for me to learn how to detach. Or just like, yeah, the underdogs are people that I feel like the lost, I could always see their souls. Like, if there was a lost and lonely soul, it doesn't matter how old they are or whatever, you know what I mean? Um, I guess I don't just think people are who they are. I always want to question, or not judging them at surface value, but to say, okay, well, what's going on in this person's life as to why they're here in that place? Or, you know what I mean? Or, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? And that, to where I don't judge them, but I'll ask a deeper question to myself. I'm not just for face value saying, well, this person's fucked up because of this. No, I feel like that there's deeper roots to everything, and it could even be traumatizations and things we brought in from past lives. But it's almost like I always can sense, like, there's like a stigma or like a sticky energy around those, a cloud. I guess I want to call it a clouded soul, and I don't think I've ever really used that term before, or even what the heck it might mean. But that's the best way I can just describe it. Does that but or like, and I've always said, like, or hollow souls. It's kind of weird. Like, like that hollow or that sticky energy. And it's not necessarily, was never really scary to me. It's almost like I want, maybe I could, if it was a gray energy, and that gray energy had a choice, that maybe that, not by the grace of my hand, but if maybe somebody gave a shit enough, that you could maybe help them make a decision to whatever side, not that was by my choice. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that was a role for me too.
I mean, that's like, I think that's only a work a Scorpio can do, which is why, like, a lot of those things you mentioned rule the eighth house in astrology, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
homelessness, being at the pit,
Mm-hmm.
lost in, addiction, or, poverty mindset, or just like some hurts and traumas in there. And you carry all of this stuff. Like, only a Scorpio can be like strong enough or resilient enough in these areas to go and help sweep up this mess. And that's not easy work. That's purifying work. And that's like high intensity workout. But to you,
Mm-hmm.
you navigate it quite smoothly. And I think, again, that's the blessing of the Pisces ray, being
Could
able
be.
to encompass the subconscious mind. You're naturally aware of that realm, and you're benevolent in it. So it's your energy overrides the gray, if you would, very easily. So it just kind of sweeps its way, almost like that weaving effect I mentioned, but
Mm-hmm.
you're sweeping away things and just
I
bless.
remember being in bars, like when I was younger, being in the bars, and these people are like, and I just conversating with people, and they were like, "Man, you make me want to go to church." I was like, I guess I'm a natural preacher too, in a way, but I'm not where I'm trying to preach to people. in the sense, but just I just want to just give people that oomph for that hope for, you know what I mean? Don't give up on your life. That there's always something more. You know, we can't save everybody though. And one of the biggest hardest lessons is like kind of to know when to, let them evolve to their next teachers, letting go. That's a big one for me, especially with the water.
And what makes it hard for you to let go? To everybody who would like a reading, we can do super chat at the end if Marcy has time. We can take a few of them. So if you'd like a reading, if you have a question you'd like Marcy and I or either one of us to look at something, just pop it in the super chat. We'll give you details later on if you hang on. So with the Cancer energy, that is probably what's holding on because it's ruling your moon, that lunar process. So it's naturally going to kind of hold on to things until they're all healed. And then once it's all healed, they want to be able to enjoy it with that person. But it's like, nope, we got to make room for the next. My little one is kind of fussing downstairs and she's with her dad. So if I might have to step away, but I think they're figuring it out. So why do you feel like it's hard to let go? Is it a like what is it? Why?
Because I am that motherly, because I don't give up on, because I don't know, so you want to take everybody, I just want everybody to be okay. I mean, I have let things go or whatever, but I think that has been in my life probably some of the hardest things, because sometimes I guess what you think isn't a lot of times. Um, or just that being in being in my ego or being in my emotion, which is irrelevant. So that's part of actually the work we do, having to balance that all out.
Right.
But coming, I mean, from probably 10 years ago till now, just, speaking generally, that's probably was one of the hardest things that I had to, like, that was one of the toughest things for me to
Right.
get over.
You said you were working in the medical field, right? And so like you had like this is like intimate interaction in a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. So when did you become aware that you were doing this type of work? You know what I mean? When was it a conscious decision to start doing this? And what?
Oh, I was in the closet for a long time. I mean, it was probably I went through my own mother died when I was young. Well, I was 15 when she passed, right? And then and I always was very connected somehow on, you know what I mean? I never felt alone. I mean, I always felt really, like I always had these conversations and stuff when I was little. It's kind of like, I guess I always was aware. But when I really started delving into and studying and learning more was probably, I want to say, uh, I never really grieved her death. And then I went through probably a dark side, night of the soul type thing where I grieved through everybody else, right? Because I took care of everybody else. But then it hit me when I was probably in my 20s, like maybe 21, 22. And I had this apartment and I just sat up, I sat in my apartment and I kind of was, I just started reading all these books and I was just all drawn like for probably like 4 or 5 years. It was like 4 years straight. I was just all of a sudden, boom. Then I didn't read anything. I just studied everything from there. But and I was closet reading, but really working on myself and learning for myself. And then everything kind of, not that everything that you read is the truth, like you're discerning it, but I would read stuff and I'm like, oh my God, I was like, I think I know that, or it kind of put things in perspective for me. And then um, I continued on in the medical field, and then I just started doing fairs, and I was doing stuff on the side. So, like the doctor I used to work for, he would be, he would call me in the room. Um, that was an OBGYN when I worked in OBGYN in Virginia, and he would call me in the room and he would say, Marcy, this person just, they just miscarried or whatever. I need you to come talk to her. And I'm like, I can't, you know, you can't, and I guess because I had permission by him, which is kind of odd, but it was, I mean, it was a cool office and I was like, it kind of always put me on spot. And they would it was a very open office, spiritual wise, and we would all have conversations and stuff at the end, all throughout the day about all of our different beliefs and things like that. And then I just started doing fairs and putting myself out there a little bit. But mostly I just read like for people on this, just on the side or just conversing and things like that.
So it was a slow, natural process for you. And so you just basically integrated pieces into where you were already
Mhm.
standing.
Mhm.
Marcy, I'm going to have you hold space with everybody for a moment. I'm just going to double check on little one just to
Okay.
make sure
I
she's
can't see
okay.
nobody's chat though. That if I hit
So
the
if you go all the way to the right, it should say
comments.
comments.
Do I hit
See?
comments? Okay.
Mhm.
But I don't know if they can see me.
I think they can see you. I'll be right back. They can see you.
Okay. Well, I'm just looking at everybody's comments if everybody can hear me. Mhm. New comments. All right. Well, I guess while I'm waiting for Ja, one of my favorite things is this book of light. This is the coolest book ever. And I will show it to everybody. And I think I'm going to pull an excerpt from it. I don't know if I even got this right. So it's the book of light. Ask and heaven will answer. So any book you on or anything you have, that's a cool thing about anything that anybody has. You can open any book and get a message. But this book is amazing, really. I love it. So I'm going to hold space for the collective. See what we got. Mm-hmm. Ooh, non-commitment. Vibrate through non-commitment. I'm going to read it. Vibrate through non-commitment. You are not committed to anyone or anything. No one has to be committed to you. No one has to do anything for you. Everything people do to you is a part of your vibrational frequency that each person has chosen for himself. People do people do not do things to you. They do things to themselves. And you will have to carry only the burden that you are meant to carry. Imagine that no one owes you anything. There is no has to. Imagine that people have their limitations and act accordingly, either remaining in density or choosing the light. I say remaining in density because you are already in density. If you stay as you are, you will remain in it. In order to evolve, you need to change. Choose the light, choose the highest vibration that you are able to reach, and stay there. Remain there. At each stage, a being ascends higher until there comes a day when he is able to rid himself of misery and comes to vibrate close, close to my light, Jesus. That's very interesting because I have this old analogy about if you continue to run around the same block, that you're not going to evolve. Um, and I feel like that concept of in the words that were just read and the non-commitment is kind of like not having expectations or not like what you think isn't maybe staying stuck in this place where if you think if you're going to pick A, you're going to get B. If you're going to pick C, you're going to get D. Well, maybe just you don't. That's where that blind faith is and that surrender is. And I think I was telling Ja earlier that just before he came on that it almost feels like everybody energetically is kind of in a holding tank, not in a gray area per se, but in a holding tank where even doing readings lately and stuff, everybody's kind of where they feel like they're not shifting or moving and everything's just like at a standstill. But I almost feel like it's a cocooning phase. And interesting enough, it makes sense to me. Well, I'm trying to check these comments, but I can't be on the camera and check my comments somehow. Whatever. I'm not tech savvy, but I still love y'all. So, purification and detoxification, I just pulled two. So it seems like everybody's balancing everything out, readjusting, realigning their energetic systems and such. And and the magician. So holding that space, being in that light or basically that present moment space is where we're in our absolute rawest form of manifestation. And I actually been learning, I've been realizing that myself because I'm not above the law. I continue to learn every day. Don't think I'm better than anybody or anything. I love to learn and every day's a new day. And if we stop ourselves from learning, then we kind of screw ourselves. I do need to eat better. That's one of my things I got to surrender. I got to eat better and probably a little bit more balancing out. I have a question, please. How does this into being lied? What? How does this being lied to and having fun stolen? Oh, okay. Well, here I understand that because the best way I know it is a hard concept what I had just read about how we don't understand how we manifest things ourselves, whether it's on either side of the frequency. That is very hard, and even for myself sometimes when I'm thinking about that, I was like, well, how the hell did I invite that to myself? Well, maybe it's an energetic frequency we're holding. Like when we're talking about continue running around the same block, and even to go back and say about letting go or not being able to let go, it's like, or in the sense of when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. It's like we can't, if you keep not respecting your energy or not respecting ourselves, then that's how it's out, and it's in our thought forms and everything. And it doesn't matter the people that we have around us. Everything mirrors and projects around us at all times. So our thoughts, our energy. If you're in a Debbie Downer mood, then you're gonna run into a bunch of Debbie Downers. But if you think like, and even Josh said earlier, if you're in that lack position and you're thinking the poor me, a lot of us come in with poverty lines from ancestral past life stuff that we're breaking. We're breaking so many ancestral chains and transitioning all of this energy. A lot of us that are in the world now are really kind of shifting and moving through. We've done some big work, some big crazy work, more work than you ever even thought that even can comprehend. And a lot of it is even old programming, our families and everything. Okay.
No, I completely agree with all of this like shadow
Well,
work. Can you hear me?
oh yeah, I can. I was trying to hold space, but I was looking at some of the comments. But I have this. I was like, well, while you're like, I pulled a. I don't know why I can't. Can you see this? Or why I'm
Um,
holding it in the wrong way? I'm trying to. Oh, the
there you
book of
go.
light.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I was like talking. I was like anything. This man. I love this book. I have a strong love for this book. But anyway, but you honestly can do it with anything. But I pulled the one from the collective, and it was 177. I'll take a picture and send it to you later. It was non-commitment, I think. Basically not being attached to nothing. And then it's like it kind of played in tandem with me talking about letting go and stuff like that and the energetic frequencies. So it kind of chimed into what we've already been kind of speaking about.
Yes, which it brings me. I'm glad that you guys were right on that line. Hold on one second. I
But
know.
even for myself, I was saying, like, when we're answering those, how do when somebody had asked how do you, or how is it possible that you're like allowing or attracting people to steal from you or something like that? And I was like, well, it is hard, even for me thinking about stuff like that. When you're reading that, it's like, okay, well, why in the hell did I attract this to me? It's still, we're all in a learning curve. And it is interesting enough, but it is frequency, because the frequency and or the thoughts and the vibrations is everything. When that's what I was saying about everything mirroring around you, you know.
No, for sure. And I mean, the whole. So I'm glad. So you found your
Ah,
way into this.
just like I just attracted my thing to fall down.
Yeah, like falling right into it.
uh,
So you just so this was naturally a state of being for you, and so you just followed the wave, and you became more
mm-mm.
and more aware of the shadow aspect of light. You understood that you were an innate help, that whatever you did, whether visually, energetically, physically, was a helpful component to this person's like path to getting better. And so you just recognize this exchange happening within yourself. And over time, you decided to kind of, I guess, educate yourself on it, if you would. But you're just looking for more avenues or more tools. And maybe there was something out there that you could use and you wanted to expand on it. And so
Yeah,
that's how you came to this.
a lot of, and a lot of times for me too is it seems like I'll go. I learn as I go through it. Well, like everybody else, I guess that was wrong. I didn't put that the right way, but
So, but
but
you're different.
spiritually even I'll experience something, and then um it's kind of like I learned through having to experience it in the ways that I can transition and read it for other people. It mirrors that way for me sometimes. If I was trying, I don't know, I'm trying to fix this stinking thing.
Well, yeah, life is definitely in positions where it's gonna have you like give you notches of like having to level up so that you can
Hmm.
go. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a little something to rub up against, I like to say.
Yeah. But oh yeah, but it's evolution too. Yeah, I think in a lot of it, the self-care, the person that asked the question about people stealing and stuff, well, you got to take care of it.
Well, not everyone
It
is meant to do this kind of work. You have to also understand your energetic
mhm.
composition. You know,
Right.
are you even meant to one work in this field or work in
Hmm.
this energy signature or work in this element?
Right.
Not that it has nothing to do with your ability to do so. It's like, is this environment conducive to your energetic signature, your energetic wave?
Right.
And so if you can be a Leo, mighty and strong and have a roar and be a leader and light things
Hmm.
and light the way. But a Leo's gonna get tired and burnt out in that arena.
Hmm.
I don't really want to like deal with all like those things. It's gonna dampen that fire. But you're
Right.
exactly where you need to be. And I think this is why the fire within you, that Mars, K2 South Node, and Aries not hides, but decided to cloak itself in water because this is the area where it wanted to work in, but it needed some, like a protective shield of sorts. And it put Scorpio, very nice, on the rising. I mean, brilliant. Because underneath that is this great big fire. And again, that Pisces like visual just takes it all up a notch. So it's really nice that you are just naturally yourself and that this has been you in an unfoldment, which puts you in a unique position. I'd
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um
I I don't I think part of or a lot of it too for me was I would have so many weird, well, I'm not complaining about it. It's just the way that I can explain it, because when people are wanting to know about when you said about cloaking and stuff, it's like, yeah, when I said earlier I like to be incognito sometimes. I like to be behind the scenes because even just minding my business, I've had weird shit happen. You know what I mean? And so,
right. And you don't
but
even make any noise. That's the thing.
right.
You're not
And
trying to
so
grab all this attention.
yeah, and then and I've also had there's just certain people which you just take everything, but I've had certain people be like, well, you don't need to put yourself out there. Don't put yourself out there. You're gonna draw the smoke. I'm like, well,
Right.
or if it's already coming, then why don't I just jump in the fucking fire and be all in?
I
Because
mean,
that's usually how I roll anyway.
you
You
see,
know?
exactly. It seems to be your environment. You know what I mean? It's not for everybody. So do you believe in God?
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, I believe I don't believe a hand's going to come and rescue you from the sky, but I believe in a universal love. I mean, if we're talking religion, I was raised in um, Catholic, but I don't practice Catholicism. Um, but I just feel the energy. I just always felt the love, and that's what I think it is. I think it's just raw, unconditional love. But I think it's all things, and maybe that's why I can, or when I was speaking earlier about the gray lines and things like that, or wanting to rescue some certain souls. Well, maybe that's part of it all too. You know. So I guess I don't really box it in one context, in one, I don't really put it in a box. I just think the energies, it's a universal source. It's unconditional love.
Do you have a conversation with this essence?
What do you mean?
Do you have a dialogue with this universal being?
Well, where when I tap in, I just feel like I've always, I mean, when I'm tapping to my, into my heart, in my space, not actual voice conversations, no, but the knowing and the feeling, sure.
Yeah, yep, yep. So it's
hmm
interesting because like
Because when I get the message, or I guess I don't mean to, if I'm understanding your question right, um, if I'm taking, if I balance it all out, my answer is always, which could be cliche, but I literally like they'll come right across my heart. That's where I connect in that sense. But even like energetic writing will come across my heart. Like if I'm tapping in, it's like okay, I would start to see gold right up around my heart and that. But to connect into my own space in my own way, yes, you know what I mean. But to where I'm not hearing big voices clouding from, you know what I mean? So,
but are you so do you pray?
yeah. hmm
So you have a dialogue or
Yeah.
just one way or are you able to
No, it's
perceive?
not just one way. I mean, I don't think I'm kind of I'm really outside of the box in a
Yeah,
sense. Like
I love it.
even when I'm listening through music, I'm praying, I hear God through all things.
Mm,
Kind of in a lot of ways. So that's kind of and it always was kind of that way for me. I can find beauty in all things, and to me that I guess maybe that's the way. I don't,
mm.
it's hard for me to, I guess I don't know if I'm answering, but for
No,
that's
you
the
are
way it is.
answering.
That's the way it is for me because I just kind of I see it in everything, but I don't try to push that on people. But I can, it's almost like, there's beauty in all things, but isn't everything is God in a truth in its truest form.
Hmm.
So if I always take the whole with the zero, it's like it's everything. So there's God in the leaves outside and in the grass, and there's God in the smoke
Oh,
and the fog,
wow.
so I mean I kind of, or in a lot of times even musically connecting, or lyrics or whatever the way that I'm spoken to in that aspect is like something I frequency wise will just kind of like ring louder to me, you know what I mean, like
Um, yeah, so it's like you truly do experience it as this outer being, like you are experiencing it outside of yourself, although you know that you consciously connect to it or put yourself in the space to just be even more in tune with it. But you don't so give it a persona exactly. You just know that it is there.
mm-hmm.
So you don't require like to talk to it like as if it was a person or anything. You just acknowledge it in a different way.
Yeah, I guess it's always has been there for me. I
But it
mean,
feels good though. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, it's
It's
just
less
always been there.
complicated in a way. It's just less complicated. It's like because you're already sensitive and not
hmm
quote unquote emotional, not in that way. Like you are able to ride the emotional waves. You are able to tap in. You know what's coming in, feeling the currents and all that stuff, and having visions and all. So like you are, but you don't necessarily anchor yourself to it. So
I
because
feel like I'm more when I said I'm more, it's like I'm always in. I need to balance into the real world
so you're
more.
the seer,
hmm
basically. So I got this deck today from a friend, and she got it from my wish list for my
Oh,
birthday.
light seers,
But I think you're a seer, and so it doesn't require dialogue, correct?
I guess. I mean,
So
yeah.
you're a
I
seer.
mean, I don't know. I just do. I don't know how to say it. I
You
just
seer.
do
Yeah,
it.
you're a seer. You see things.
Yeah.
You're a
I
seer.
mean,
Yeah.
Um, but I've not, I guess I've always felt, I mean, I know everybody connects in their own way. I don't have, if it, I mean, I don't have, I have my little, okay, well, I'm
I
ready.
think a seer
But
looks up into the sky and is like, all right, like what's going on there? Like do do do, and then easily is able to scan and read it.
oh yeah, I
Um,
see stuff all, I mean, yeah, it's just wild. I'll see stuff all the time. I would, um, but I can see, even normal just pictures or whatever, you can see, like pictures will change and move or whatever, anything you're looking at. That's what I was telling. our audience earlier, and you can pick up a Dr. Seuss book and put it to your heart and say thank you for the message and open
Oh
it
my
up,
God.
and
So
there'll be a message. There's a message in damn everything. It doesn't have to
yeah,
be just one cut dry thing, and
today
that's what.
today we made the joke that we were going to be Dr. Seuss characters for Halloween today. Like that idea was born today.
Yeah,
And then
but
you
literally, I mean, literally anything. You can pick anything up, and and I mean, and maybe that's kind of how I am in that sense. Is like I can find spirits and everything, gods and everything. So, but I am very. I've said it many times. I'm a big advocate on people trusting themselves. I mean, yes, you can learn something. You can learn something initially, but I want people to believe in. I mean, well, it's not about what I want. I try to open up those avenues or give that inspiration to actually believe in your own magic or believe in your own self, because it does not have to make sense to nobody else. You can get a message from anything because it is for you. You know what I mean? And so, you know,
yeah, and this is where like I think Sagittarius comes in and fucking complicates the fuck out of all of that. Because although I don't have Sagittarius in my chart, I have a ninth house Mars in Aries. And I love to look at all types of philosophical ideals, and take a look at how belief is an actual thing that differs, and symbolism and colors play like a variation, rituals and temples and prayer work and fasting to actively praise and worship and gain access to a being. It's like something that it's a different kind of relationship or a different route. I don't know. Whereas you don't really see it, that you see it outside of yourself, but not completely, which is why it's so easy for you to just say, hey. And then, like, where someone like me likes to be like, actively like saying that I'm in like worship, like I'm actually doing this as an act of praise and worship to God, the divine. And if I'm not correct, I pray that He put me in my place, and I'll be scared as shit when that day happens. But ultimately, my goal is to serve God. So, um,
yeah, I mean, yeah, that ultimately is my goal. But I always will say, I mean, one of my things is, it's kind of like yeah, I surrender, and thank you for taking me where you want me to be. You know what I mean? Is or where I'm supposed to be, or even when I would do shows or frequency wise, I never really worried about, I never worried about how many people I would pay to do them, right? You would pay to do them, but on my way to and from, I was always would be in gratitude, but it didn't matter if I read for one person or if 12 people showed up that day or 20 or whoever. I didn't care because I trusted that the frequency that was or whatever I was supposed to do that day was going to come. And I wasn't disappointed financially or anything, because if it was just one person, it was just equally as exciting to be of service. You know what I'm saying? In
sure.
that sense. So and so I've said, things like that, and I've always just trusted that.
What I want to just take a second. I want to say, what's up, Sam? What's up, Colby? What's
I
up,
don't know why I can't see the
Skywalk? Good. What's up, J Lo? What's up, Lilac? Just everybody, like, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? If
see,
we're
I don't
not
see them,
acknowledged
yeah.
you directly, it's not on purpose. We're absorbing what you're saying. I'm really excited to have this dialogue and have all of you in the chat, engaging, sharing your thoughts. I mean, like, really participating. It's really amazing, and I want to say thank you. Like, your presence feels awesome. So, thank you. What's up, Ben? Hi, Ben. What's up, Ben? Yo, Ben, does Janice and Benjamin have to have a talk? I'm just wondering. I mean, what happened over the moon? Is it the new moon? What happened around there, huh? What's going on? What happened? What what went to the flip side? What went into the flip side? I'm wondering, darling. I'm wondering, dear. Hi, Ben. I just want to say one big shout out to Ben. Ben, I really appreciate you, brother. You do nothing but show love. You're highly attentive. You spread your love, your input, your insight. You make all of us laugh. You're a great presence to have around. I just want to say that all of us here at Mystical Illuminations, especially myself, Janice, and Ava, really feels nice to have you around, Ben. So just saying what's up.
Yeah, Ja, I can't see the
So
chats.
even if you go all the way to the right, it's to say like
Mm-mm.
all these like it's just like comments on the top, like on the far right.
I'm afraid I seen it earlier when we had I see your it says life card pulls. And that
Oh, it maybe. Oh, I think it might be at the bottom of the chat. No? Oh, what happened? We lost our girlfriend over here. I'm over here like lost in the text. I'm like, what's going on? She's gone. Oh, hey Ben. Hey, I gotta say, I'm not sure about the moon reference. What I meant by the moon reference is to go. I think around the new moon. I would love to know, or I would. It would be nice if you went back and experienced what was going on and shifting during those times. I am the one who got the moon reference. I was just delivering the message. And so I don't know. The other work I can't I not for me to see, no. Well, don't forget to add to stream. Hi Mama.
can you Yeah.
Hi, you're back. So
Can you say
we're
I
gonna
don't know.
pull,
I was trying to look at the comments and I clicked it out, so
we're gonna pull cards for everyone. So basically like what I've been pondering is like the belief of God. And if
okay.
we have like all this direct access to him, you know what I mean? And you've really simply by just being yourself, I put it all in perspective. It's like if it's some type of work that you want to do, then do it. It should naturally be a part of your life unfoldment or your life path. Your spiritual work should be able to naturally blend into your daily reality. It shouldn't be anything excess or forceful. It just is something that naturally integrates into time, right? And space. Um,
Well, and another, I guess, in a nutshell too, is I just feel like I don't. It's about being in that box thing. I think any way that anybody chooses to believe and or connect, right? Even when I have questions as simple about, well, how do I meditate, or yeah, it's like, no, you don't have to drop to your knees down in the corner if you don't want to, because you can meditate in whatever way that is works for you. You know, even people cooking sometimes, if that's what you enjoy to do, you can be a meditative state doing that. But you know what I'm saying? Like everybody, I don't. A lot of people think that they're not doing their that they're not doing any work if they're not doing it this certain way. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like whatever ritual or whatever practice or whatever that basically it's yours and yours alone, and it's equally as effective. You know what I'm saying?
so
And
do you think it's like creating an imaginary world, or are there actually rules in time and space that adhere to such connection? You know what I mean? Which is like where religion comes into play, where it's basically set to like purify your path and find yourself onto the divine. Which is where like this whole like new age spiritualism stuff like that, it's like I kind of see it as a highway system and you can go anywhere on this highway system. And
mhm.
so
Well, I think it all depends on it's your intention and your belief, you know, and everybody believes something different and their intention is different. So it's almost like, you know, that movie, What Dreams May Come, and you can be on any level you want. But yes, we spiritually should have spiritual respect and boundaries, clearly. But if you're exploring your own path and your own avenues, you know, it's whatever you want it to be. I think we can walk through this tapestry if we wanted to. We could climb right through
No,
there.
and it looks it was like
You
really
know?
like light behind you. It looks so good. Okay, so I guess like I came here with the intention of maybe exploring um like this whole like religion and Christianity, like new age conversion, but your whole like unfoldment has completely cured that of like wanting to even want to ask about any of it.
Well,
It's
I
something that I will always ponder, but I'm like,
I
I
do
feel
feel highly connected to though. It's kind of weird though. I do love cathedrals and feel in all that. I feel highly connected to that. I think they're absolutely beautiful. But what is it? It could be past life stuff. It could, but I don't like the dogma and everything.
mm,
I don't like the control in it. I don't, and that's what I'm saying about being placed in a box and having people walking on eggshells. Like if I do this, then I'm going to hell for this. I don't believe in none of that shit. I believe in basically I believe in the unconditional love. Obviously, I inherently, you have your own rules and your own foundations and your own moral compass, and if you're at peace with that, then that's what you walk with and that's what you abide by.
yeah, that's
You
what
know
I'm
what I mean?
saying. Yeah.
But I don't like people. I don't like people think, like, oh my God, if I eat this, I'm gonna go to hell, or if
But
I
it's
do
like
this,
a
I'm
whole
going to hell.
other world, but it's like Lord, Heavenly Divine Father, like if there is, we can't negate that religion does serve if the religion is practiced as intended and not skewed to fit everyone's perception, which is nearly
Right,
impossible. But
right.
you're somehow able to follow the exact same steps to get you to it's meant to protect you and it's meant to
Hmm.
keep your path clear and
Hmm.
concise and straight on the God divine. It's a place of
Hmm.
worship and hyperactive attention. And
But
not
but do you believe that? If you believe that I think everything initially was born and formed with positive intent until then that little tyrant sea hand got and became involved and then took it and flipped it to something, because you can take anything and flip it into what it's not, you know what I mean? But it's all about, well, that's free will, it's choices, you know.
mm,
Because really all religions have a commonality. Every religion is can be, just like when people are all worried about hoodoo and
well, that
voodoo,
would
you know
bring
what
me
I mean? It's just
to
that's all that's got a bad stigma with it. It's not bad though. It's
what
not all bad.
what are we looking for is the question. It's like, what are we looking for when we are in religion, basically? Like, if we're in a religious structure, what are we looking for in there?
Something outside of yourself to say that you're validated, or something to but a lot of people look outside themselves to be validated to believe in. But if your heart is your Christ conscious tunnel or your God tunnel, then
Hmm.
why can't your body be your church? Why can't
In a
your
certain
heart
way,
be your church?
it can, but
In a lot of ways.
it definitely is the
Hmm.
church, but depending on your maturation or the
Right.
development of your psyche depends on how well disciplined you can be on
Hmm.
attractive upholding this kind of vibrational connection like that.
Right, right. But yeah, so I guess in a nutshell, I don't down anybody's religion or anything. I don't down
Mhm.
religion at all.
And
But
what do
I
you think
just
about the crisscrossing the lines? Do you think that's so completely okay? Do you think it's the same thing?
crisscrossing the lines in the sense of
Just
utilizing different aspects, like
yeah.
in religion.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, if that's what you choose. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I there's I like Buddhist concepts. I've read Hoodoo prayer books.
But what if,
But I think
but
everything's intent.
do you think all of that dilutes? Do you think that all of these different avenues dilutes you or dilute the pathway to the divine? Like, why do we even have to go through any of these routes? Totally.
I don't think that you necessarily have to. I think when people are searching, if we're if you're asking me personally, I just study it just because I'm curious. If I have, right?
Mhm.
Because I don't believe I don't believe or whatever. So, people, I'm talking shit about you doing voodoo again. Okay, that's cute. Trick or treat, right? That's just, that doesn't even bother me. But even in college and stuff, doing papers on, stuff on just interesting, because just
Hmm.
because somebody says it is doesn't mean it is. So you have
Hmm.
to discern and learn yourself. So you choose. But I don't just take everything at face value. I think people can take anything and put their twist or their stamp on it,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
But but I also, I don't know. I just love.
No, because it's like, no,
Yeah,
I love God. Like, I'm a
yeah,
worshiper of like Christ. Like, well, I believe
yeah.
that I went to
Oh, I believe in Jesus
and
100%.
Christ opened the door to
Mhm,
the divine. I'm like, okay,
mhm,
every time I want to make sure I'm in the right place, I'm like, Lord Jesus Christ, boom, and go right through that doorway and opening
mhm,
that He promised to me and promised to all of
mhm,
us. I'm like, if I ever want to get right to the source, Jesus, and then He's like,
mhm,
welcome, sister, my child. I'm like, where's God?
mhm.
Where's that? Where's that? Say, excuse me. And then I'm like,
Yes, I.
no, I'm just kidding. I'm like, thanks. No, and then I'm like, but and then I like the tarot and I love astrology. I love philosophy. I think I guess it's just totally okay to just entertain whatever it is that you want to entertain in whatever fashion you will. I mean, like I guess like how can there be a right and a wrong in this? I can't really see that.
I don't know. I just think I think God will show us. I think the divine will show up. I think you can see God in anything, and I think you can see Jesus in anything. Because if that's what you're specific, when we set our antenna, that's what we're specifically asking. Then that's your that's your beautiful, your actual intention and your imprint. So then that divine source is going to show you in the way that you're meant to see, regardless of what it's through. And I mean, that's what I just think that's the beauty in it. You know what I mean? To me, but that's it. Um, but I definitely don't go knocking on doors I don't want answers to, for sure. I
No,
got
this
I
is
got I
really
got a pure
soothing.
intent.
It's
Huh?
really it's this is really soothing to hear. I don't know because I feel like I have some fight in me in this topic, but like you're totally pacifying me, like because it's like it's true because I overall have this same belief system and structure, but there's also another side
Hmm.
of me that loves that. It's this philosophical like
Well, I think that, and that's a beautiful thing too, to be. I mean, because that's part of how, when we're talking about, growing and evolving. I don't know, whatever I want to know something about, I always look up and then I'll decide what I think about it from there. You know what I mean?
uh,
Always. I'm curious. I'm very curious in that aspects. I am drawn to religions
mm,
um and things like that, philosophy. I always have been. But I also just kind of discern everything. And I mean, I could go to a Catholic church and I can go to a Baptist church, and I'll take or anything. I'll walk in any church and I'll take what it feels to me. You know what I mean?
right.
I can respectfully be in those environments and say, okay, well, when
So
I'm
do
when I
you
leave,
think
I'll say,
that
okay, well, I enjoyed this, but I'm gonna leave
so
that at the door.
what about the idea of having access to other entities? Are you okay with that?
In what sense?
Like if when you
Like Eurisha and stuff, or
doesn't
or
matter. Like there's many different religion or religious practices that open you up to multiple different kinds of spirits. So it's like, what do you think about that? Do you like to just stick with the one pure
no? I mean,
spirit?
even when I open, I welcome any and all beings of divine love and light. I'll
Okay,
work with them. You know what I
you
mean?
don't work with
So
them. Okay.
yeah, but specifically, I feel attached. Um, I feel not attached, but I just work with certain, the archangels, Archangel Michael, the Virgin Mary, but I don't, or the Mother Teresa type energy, but I'm not so sure that I believe in the Mother Teresa energy when it comes to. I believe that Mother Teresa in essence was probably the feminine version of Jesus if we look at it in that context, but is it just in a religion, in a Catholicism context? No, I don't believe that.
So
You know what I
Sam,
mean? So I kind of have my own little You know, I believe the Mother Teresa is almost the Mother Earth, the womb of the earth, the mother, the nurturer. She could, who says that it was Mother Teresa? Maybe it's Mother Earth. Just like, is there a God? Is there one God? No, I
Oh,
feel like, from the heavens to the earth,
mhm.
because if the earth is the womb,
Oh,
then that is our heavenly mother.
mhm,
So when they say, what did Ariana Grande was saying, that song about God's a woman? Well, maybe,
mhm.
yeah. Well, if we're co-creation, we co-create physically in this life, and there's the zero again. Well, it takes,
And the
and I don't,
poem. Mhm,
yeah, and
mhm.
I definitely don't believe the Adam and Eve shit about. Oh, sorry, about because they programmed a temptation. They programmed. It's not just because of well, I believe it was taken out of context. Maybe the whole definition, and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong,
Right.
but just food for thought. But they made it out like they bit the apple, the temptation. All right, well, you were all right. That's that. I think that's made up.
It's
I think
metaphorical. It's
right, but I think that it's like,
it's like
yeah, I think
it's like a poem, a big poetic story.
yeah, but
Mhm.
there's some people that read that, or you know what I mean. I think there's some people, and I'm not down nobody, but they're reading that stuff and they're like, "Oh, this is what that is."
They're
Well,
taking
you,
it at face value through their limited
mhm,
perception and
mhm,
understanding.
mhm. And so I'm one of them, and that's what I am. Everything's always outside the box for me. So I'll think about shit on all angles, and then I'll be like, okay, well, I'm back to square one, and then this makes sense, but maybe this don't, and then I'll be like, well, what the fuck? I don't know. But
So, yeah, and
I do love those conversations though, because I love hearing everybody's views and concepts. And that's what I love, deep conversations like that. And it's like, okay, and people can agree to disagree. That's all cool. That's the cool thing. That's the awesome thing about it though, because don't we all just have this peace, and we all can kind of collaborate, and maybe not one of us are even right about it, but it's your own little thing, your own little twist on it.
hmm.
You know what I mean? So
I heard a good quote in the weekend. There is no right or wrong, but there is right and there is wrong. Oh, that's definitely true. Philosophy is questioning. Yeah, it is. Religion kills the question with an answer. Supposedly, they do leave some room for exploration. That should be through the covenant of you and God, which all else would be a distraction, which is
mhm.
interesting because someone here asked, I think it was Sam, he was like, well, then isn't all of that a distraction then? Oh, no, no, he said, I wonder. Sam said, sorry, Sam. Sorry. Sam said, I wonder if they are decoys made to distract us from the self. And sometimes I think some of these avenues are decoys and distractions. And I think there is mal energy out there that we could be connecting to unwillingly. How strong is our discernment is a question. And I think that's ultimately what the church was there to protect you from, because, someone also said, well, yeah, it's there to shield you, but protect you from what? It's like, well, from your own deception, right?
Right, but that's part of us. I think we all been in those positions, but that's that evolution again, because as you're growing and learning, of course you're gonna experience certain things.
Um,
You know, to be able to.
no, it makes sense. No, no, it's cool. It's cool. I like to leave room for this topic, and I like to leave room for all of us to be able to talk about these things interchangeably and freely without the stigma of, oh, if I mention religion, people are going to look at me funny, or this is not
No, I don't.
talk about that type of stuff. It's like, no, we talk about everything that involves the mind, body, soul, and spirit.
Yeah,
And there's levels to this shit, you know what I mean? And these are true questions. At the end of the day, you might
yeah,
sit with yourself and your soul and ask yourself these deep questions. They're real ones.
true. That's very true.
So do you want to get into the readings? I know we've been on for a little while, and there's a couple of people who have put the super chat. As of right now, I only see Walting and Lilac. I don't know why you can't see. We gotta figure
I
that.
can see that. If I click in the comments, But I can't see the super chat.
Like the super chat or the
Oh, Lilac Ocean.
yep, and vaulting. So if you put one in, or if you didn't, now is the time.
Vaulting. Okay.
I do like Dolo, the pilot man. I tuned into him a couple years ago. I got the gist and understanding of what his messages were, and flight boss, bitch, I flew. So yeah, I love Dolo. Um, so
So
let's.
Janice, are you answering
We
or
both
what?
can work on it. So
Okay, 'cause I was like,
Vulcan says,
one looks like an astrology. So go ahead, what? Or
okay, so heard something from Deep Love made me want clarity, but we are both cancers. Oh, the cancer on cancer dynamic. Ah, you're talking to me. You're talking to me. He's talking to me. I have Cancer Sun first house, Aries moon, okay? And Cancer makes you an extremely, extremely passionate individual who will rightfully stand for what they love and go after what is theirs with some passion and fire, baby. And Cancer, Jupiter, Mercury in a 12th. Nice. So are you Saturn in Cap for her? Sag moons with Pluto, Cancer, Sun. Okay, so what do you need clarity on in regards to you and your Cancer? I mean, what I could do is pull a card for the both of you. If you're here, let's see. Well, it's supposed to be a one-card pull, but let's see what's going on between the two of you, the Cancers and Cancers. I can pull something, and Marcy, you can pull something, unless you can go.
I pulled something. Are you
Yes,
doing? We're
you
doing
go, and I'll work on it.
vaulting right now.
Yes, you go.
When you were breaking down the astrology, I actually pulled.
No, oh, so basically, he's like,
Well, I was picking up kind of like questioning belief systems, and also creating. It's funny because we were just talking about all that, but also moving into psychic. I pulled the psychic card, but it was in reverse, and for me that was the intuition, but in reverse, coming into more abilities along with the awakening, the preparing. But that tells me kind of more higher ascension knowledge, connecting spiritually. I don't know, like Metatron energy and universal. Like I don't know why I just saw. I don't ley line. When people say ley lines, but it's almost like I seen the ley lines like this, and not on the ground. So that's kind of weird. But anyway, it's not for me. And then deciding the adventure card. So deciding the avenues, plays, and discoveries. But it's almost like questioning, quite actually believing themselves, but also questioning where the energy is coming from. But it's almost, I feel like it's almost Jesus take the wheel, like you're gonna kind of jump all in, but different energies. And I don't want to say energies and entities, but I feel like it's like Metatron energy.
So
like I'll say, if they say that there's aliens, well, maybe there's still higher dimensional, there's higher dimensional aliens, and then you're going to discern what that all means to you. So in a big, like a big box of actually stepping into a belief system, or kind of playing with those foundations and things. Because a lot of people are getting a lot of information, but they're like, oh my God, where's this coming from? You know what I mean? But are discerning or scared to receive those insights. But if you're setting your foundations and your boundaries in the sense of, okay, if this is what this is, I have like things that I set for myself all the time specifically. And move and grow and move as I move along, or grow as I move along, I guess I would say. So I have a specific one that I have for my mother that I don't even say nothing to nobody about. And if I see that, it's kind of like means get the fuck out of there, And I was like, okay, this is for sure. But that's what I'm saying. It's kind of, if you're setting your boundaries, your spiritual boundaries, according to your belief system, because a lot of people are going to get some far out there energy, and of course or far out there stuff, or what they would think would be far out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's basically like you're telling them that if they just looked a little bit, they would be able to know the answer to it.
Yeah, or just
Because we're talking about love here, right?
no, I wasn't talking about love. I just pulled a card.
Was that, but okay, so
When you were breaking down astrology on the love, I read the comment and I was like, oh, but it's the like I just pulled a card.
okay,
I just pulled cards for it because I thought you were breaking down for
yeah, I think that message was entirely for Valton.
Yeah. That's just what I picked up, so that's what I gave. So
Okay, so yeah, so basically,
sorry.
I read that. No, it's like that was a lot of information that was really important and necessary to absorb.
But maybe it's the foundations and the beliefs on what you believe love is. People are, the people, I don't know. Sometimes people, do you ever think about people connecting with source energy or people connecting with their loved ones that have passed or all types of different things or the concepts and foundational beliefs of what they think love actually is? You know what I mean? So
Right,
that all can play in parts of that too.
definitely. Okay, so there's that. That's one part of this two part because I'm also going to take a look at it and come at it from my perspective. So it says, heard something from deep love, right? Maybe want clarity. We will quote our Cancer. So these are two Cancerians. There's a little bit of confusion because in the Cancerian reading from deep love, there was like an illusory aspect to it. And so we would like a little bit more clarity as to these two specific cancers in their situation and to illuminate any like illusory, like anything that's hiding from them that they should know what's really going on between the two of them. So if it's Cancer on Cancer, one more second because I really want to give this I really want to give it a thorough answer. So one's an Aries moon and the other is a Sag moon. Wow. So not only are you getting along on a solar level, you're getting along on a lunar and level. And we don't know what her rising sign is. Moon, full Cancer. Okay. So far the compatibility is strong. The synastry is strong. You know, you have a trining sun, a trining moon. The energy is so blended, which is why it's hard to see into it, as the energy fields in the emotional body and the egoic body is really blending in well together. So when the two of you are together, the energy is kind of flowing, which creates this blending action. And so then there's this ambiguous or like not clear cut understanding of what it is that's going on. And if there's something wrong or hidden, or what is it that I need to know about this? So this is what I'm understanding from questions. And so I'd like to pull a card. One just fell out. And we have the 8 of Wands. So we have messages, fast movement, travel, right? So maybe someone's feeling a little bit restless and someone's looking for change or waiting for an opportunity to move about, say something, speak what's on their mind, create some type of action, some movement forward. Okay, so what may not be clear is that there's a need for movement and action. As well, there's a 10 of Swords here. So one or the other, if it's not yourself, it may be the other. They've come to some type of like mental like shattering point with the 10 of Swords, but also a huge releasing point. So either there's something that has come to their realization, and they need to make a movement and a choice on it. All they know is that they cannot remain stagnant right now. A Sag moon in particular is a runner, okay, or has a running energy, doesn't like to be attached, likes to go, go, go. So the 8 of Wands and 10 of Swords is a need to move away from some sort of mental conflict. Like, it's like when all of a sudden your mind changes and you have no idea why it changed, but now you have to act on the change that has happened. And so that's the energy that I'm getting for that. And that's just a 2-card pull. If you were to book a reading with myself or Majestic Magi, you can get as much insight and a plethora of knowledge and information as you needed and required.
Are we done? Are we on to oh, hold on. Can I step out just for a second, Jen?
Definitely. Yep.
And then we can do or were we
I
on
mean, work with
Lilac Ocean?
Yep. Work with.
Okay.
All right, y'all.
All
What's
right.
up?
Hey, I'm a virgin on doing these live these ones right here and how we're doing. So
That's
y'all
okay.
gonna have to forgive me.
Yeah, we
Oh,
just
hold on.
having fun. Mm-hmm. Hey, what up, everybody? Thank you. I may look into a reading soon with
Hey,
you,
come
or
here.
thank you as well. Yeah, no doubt. I'm open to whatever message is important. Yes, no doubt. We got you, J Lo. I see you. Hi. Isaiah says everyone would probably do everything they wanted to do before death because we'd realize I'm supposed to use this body to fulfill my soul. Yeah, and totally. I'm really coming to that conclusion, or have come to the conclusion that the final piece is reintegrating right back with the body. Because as like when you're ascending or you're choosing to go through ascension, you're basically detaching from the physical weight of existence, and then once you're up there, sometimes you can get stuck in that 5D, and so you got to figure out how to get your way back down into the body so that you can enjoy this higher consciousness and clarity, and then utilize it and act on it through your physical vessel.
My pugs are getting restless.
Oh, I'm sorry. So
Oh, you're good.
we can start with Lilac. Don't know who would like, if you'd like to go. I hope
Yeah,
so.
I was well, I pulled actually I did pull for her. It was purification and detoxification and then a breaking through, but I feel like when I'm looking at that what the message I got received off of that is I just feel like it's breaking those foundations of self-belief or not trusting the moves that you're inherently being given to take. Because I feel like she already knows her truth, but she's just afraid to move forward. So
Mm.
really it's a leap of faith. I
Okay.
don't necessarily
I
and
think
also too
okay,
the feeling of feeling non-deserving. I think that's what because when I'm looking at purification and detoxification, I think initially I don't just look at it in the sense of okay, we got to eat better or stop smoking or whatever, drinking, whatever. I think that it's more so her self-belief and feeling the deservingness, because if you have that lilac, if you have that stigma around you, or you're feeling that energetic stigma of just self-belief or guilt or shame even but that's just what the outside of whatever, just wash that shit away. You don't need that. Put your toes in some water and get rid of it. We're all deserving no matter what.
I love it. Lilac. That was really good. I felt that release. That was good. That was an important message. I love how you just illuminate it so effortlessly. So show me. I'm using this is the Starseed Oracle. Giving me some Starseed energy here, Lilac. Starseed Oracle for Lilac. What is Lilac? What does this Lilac Ocean need to know mostly at this time? Show me a representation of her energy. Sure. Messages to come. Let's see. I like obvious jumpers, and I know you're a little bit shy, but there's no reason to be shy, darling. We're already watching. Lila. Like I see you from peeking behind a curtain, and like your son right behind you, like. And so we have a flipper in here, and we have wait. It's not time yet. Things are being woven. Remember, I just said I see you waiting behind the curtain, kind of like assessing things, and we get wait. It's not time yet. Things are being woven. So whatever you're doing right now that you think is being rushed, or you're moving a little too fast on, or you're a little too excited about, or like you're not sure if you should be pressing the gas or pumping the brakes or something like that, in that very situation, you're being told to wait. Things are still being woven. Okay? You'll be reintegrated soon and shortly. Okay. That was great.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of when I was saying everybody feels like they're like in a for different reasons in a holding pattern. The
Say it again.
spiritual cocooning.
Yeah,
I
feel
said
good.
when we said that kind of coincided with our when we were just speaking earlier about it feels like everybody's kind of like in that corral, that holding pattern.
Mhm.
Um and I call it the spiritual cocoon. Wait. So we're
Like that. That was really nice, Lilac, and I'm glad that it hit home for you, baby.
oh, thank you too. Oh, yeah.
Let's see. So I
Majestic.
believe Miss J Lo in the house. What's
No,
up,
she
honey?
is
Thank
that
you.
she just wants a general, it looked like.
Yeah, I'm ready for what comes through for me, she says. Okay.
All right. Um, okay. Go. Kicking ass and taking names, J Lo. That's what you're doing. Telling people the damn truth, and don't be afraid of how you're going to be received because we can be gentle and assertive, right? You can't allow people to abuse you anymore. Your voice needs to be heard, but not abuse you in the sense of abuse you, but don't worry about walking on eggshells and disappointing people and how you want to be treated in relationships. And if you're dating somebody, which I feel like you are kind of dating somebody, and you're afraid
Mhm.
to actually speak your truth, and afraid in fear of maybe losing that person, you know what? Fuck them. You have to speak your you have to speak your truth and speak what you're willing to put up with or what you're not, and it doesn't have to be in a negative connotation. But there has to be boundaries for yourself and self-respect, and what's meant for you will always be there. It doesn't have to be confrontation, but don't be afraid to speak your truth. And then I just pulled. Oh yeah, liberation. So you'll find peace. If you have questions, you need to ask. You need to have those conversations and ask them. And I also pulled the majestic priestess card. So basically, I feel like you intuitively do know the answers, but it's kind of almost like you're afraid to get the answer.
Mhm.
So that's a boundary. It's a boundary issue, and it's also a self-respect issue. But also, too, don't be afraid. If that's not the person, it's not the person. But I almost feel like there's a little loose ends in communication. But I don't think it's anything that won't be resolved. But maybe stop holding on so tight. I just got deja vu. Fuck. Whoops, sorry. I said maybe not holding on so tight.
Yeah,
Um,
no, definitely. I think there's a lot of these like fire, there's a lot of like fire energy that she has the ability to tap into. And I guess despite how like for fierce it might come out, it needs to be said because by you saying the truth, by you spitting the truth and not being afraid of how it comes across, you liberate others. You
mhm,
illuminate their path. You break them free of something through your ability to just like be like, watcha,
mhm.
and it might shake people up and it might bring tears or make others cry or whatever, but at the end of the day you're doing them a favor, and especially the closer they are to you, even more so. But there's also like a balance that's required, you know what I mean? We can't go all the way with the bite and the watch out. We gotta like do it and figure out how to, soften the blow in some way. It doesn't mean that we completely repress it.
Yeah,
um,
I like that.
So let me see what comes through for you now. I have the Light Seers Tarot, and then I have the Star Seed Oracle. Would you like the Light Seers Tarot or the Star Seed Oracle? Let me know real quick. I'm gonna pull one solid ass card for you. So Jayla, let me know if you want the Star Seed Oracle or the Light Seer. Let me know. You want a tarot pull or the Oracle? Maybe she's not here. Oh, that's fine. Let me show you real quick. Okay. You can't be doing that. You can't be like, all right, put my message in there and be like, nah, I really don't know if I want my message out there. Give me my message back. It's like, leave it in there. Do I want this card? I'm going to pull one more. I want one that pops out. Sorry, you're getting spoiled today.
Sorry, bouncing my little stuff all around here.
All right. So we have the Page of Cups. And this is the first initial pull, so I want to put the hyper focus on it. And so earlier, the Majestic Magi mentioned that you may be in some type of relationship or some type of romantic relationship. But I think previously known and understood that there is a romantic energy in your environment. And for some reason, you're completely oblivious to it. Tell me why. It's there somewhere. And if you don't see it, it's because you are opening yourself up to it, or you haven't put yourself in the position to come into these interactions, into these sorts. And I mean, the Five of Swords is telling me that, you know, the Five of Swords is like, it's a disruption in communication. It's a disruption in, because if the swords is communication, 5 is fighting. So I think of like a lot of like white noise, like, there's something distorting the connection or blocking out this connection. And it's something that you don't quite see. You aren't really seeing this. And so if, they're the crows. Remember, I don't know. I think we had something with the crows too. They're the crows. Listen to the crows. There's a lot of white noise around you, and that white noise needs to get completely drowned out because it's distracting you from a path even illuminating, is what I'm understanding. And so there's Page of Cups in your environment, or there's a cup trying to reach you and make connection here. But then there's this Five of Swords distortion. I don't know why people have to tell you things 5-10 times for you to even listen. Like why do even everybody, why do they have to tell you 1, 2, 3? You listen to it, you're like, yeah, okay. And it's like, no, really, yeah, okay, I got it. No, really, okay, yeah, I got it. No. Listen. For real. Okay? And yeah, that's it.
Where are we at?
I don't know if anybody else put in for a super chat. But if not,
that's fine. I was looking at the comments because I was like, I'm figuring this out. So how are you doing, Ja?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Isaiah asked if I would pull one card for the room, so I'll pull one card for the room, and if you'd like a closing card, we can give it to them. But other than that,
oh, for sure. I have. Oh, do you? I have decks that want to like conjoin.
Yeah.
I always like, but I have the ones that you were but I don't think I'm on. I need to pull that one. I'm onto these ones right now.
What are those?
I have decks that want to mate. So I have the crystal.
Oh, I don't think I've
the crystal ones, and then I don't even know what the heck these ones are called. They're somewhere. I just moved everybody, so I just have my little decks out, but I don't. But a lot of my decks want to. Yeah, a lot of them are merged. I guess I would say.
Okay, I like that. I've never really put 2 and 2 together.
Well, I have so I have my Archangel Michael deck and my Virgin Mary deck wanted to merge. So those are together. So I put those together, and then the crystal angels, and I go, what is it? What the heck is this one called? It's something dimensions wanted to merge. Mm-hmm. And there was another deck. I don't know if I just have a feeling to put them together. I do. It's weird, but they do coincide very well together. And then, actually, do you drive around with tarot cards in your car? I got some. I have a tarot deck in my in my console.
Um,
And I'll be driving around just like, okay, pull a card.
it depends on my relationship with the deck. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Some of my newer guys, they want to hang out with me for a while, so they end up going in my purse. They'll go in my work bag. They'll go wherever I'm at for a while until we feel bonded.
Okay, so we're pulling for the collective. Yeah, for our chat. Liberation. Yeah,
Oh.
I like. Yeah, and you know what? And that's it. I don't know. I keep going back to that holding tank because I feel like right when we're when our cocooning space, we're all going to be liberated for different reasons. But all the seeds have been planted. But there's
Right.
the power of fulfillment and the self attainment. So the brownies are baking, kids.
So
And
are we liberated into another tank, a bigger tank, or is there
I
no?
think, I think, yeah. I mean, why not? I think it's any tank you want to be in. But I feel like they're just stepping stones upon the evolution of the
Okay.
self, of thyself. So whatever frequency you're in, or wherever, whatever attainment of peace, or whatever
So
whatever you're
so
trying to.
is this the illusion separation then? Because if we aren't truly separated, then then all of these problems are merely imaginative. But then it
That
doesn't mean.
oh, I love the way you put that. Yes. Okay. It may be that what it is.
But
Illusion,
our
delusion.
realities are still secular, though. We still are in different parts of the world with different environments, encountering different 3D realities. But in the overall sphere of things, what's going on, truly? So then that must kind of put us in these like tank bubbles.
Yeah. Well, what dreams may come though. You could be on any level or wherever it is, or how it um facilitates for you. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But energetically, don't you think that okay, so what um energetically of what with the attainment and stuff, we can energetically dang, connect and combine. Geez, I'm having a little
Let's see.
how the frequencies can connect.
So I have the Chrysalis Tarot here, and I don't know why I haven't. This is like one of my first decks, and it's like so pristine because it's like a special deck to me. I
It's
don't know.
pretty.
When I first started my YouTube channel, I think in 2014, like the end of it, like I just
Okay.
experimented with it for a while. This was like the deck I started doing my readings with for YouTube. So I haven't really played with her in a bit. Um, But let's see. So I'm gonna pick her up afterwards. I think I want to pull two cards. So talking about intermingling energies. The energy for the room at the moment, and anyone who tunes in afterward as well. Okay, those three just wanted to come out. So we have the Hanged Man in reverse, the Six of Cups upright, and the World. And I normally don't like to read reversals, but because it's going for such a broad thing, I'm going to take the reversal to make it more specific. So we're being released or something, right? Because that Hanged Man reverse would be just like that Liberated card. We were put in a tank or holding position, and we're being released with that. And we're somehow becoming reunited with either our childlike self or a past aspect of ourselves that we really needed in order to feel whole. This is like, coming together with someone that really makes you remember who you are at the core. It could be a best friend or a cousin, someone who used to really ride out with you. Um, if there is a blockage in attaining this aspect of your psyche or this aspect of yourself, that is being liberated and unlocked. No longer needing to be left in a holding position, but you have to come to a realization that you can spin yourself right side up again now, and you can take that little journey back to self and remember what happiness is truly for you. And then, it all comes full circle with the world. I mean, It's a
Okay.
completion and also a coming into self, a coming into a new world, being released from the holding tank, exiting the holding tank into a new reality, you know. And the world card is a Saturn card. It was a long journey and a hard one. But we're being released from it, and we are released. That's the thing. The thing is, it's saying we are released. We are liberated. It doesn't say liberate. It says liberated.
I love it.
Yeah, that's really good energy.
I do love
Love that
it.
for all of us. That's bomb.
I know I love it. It actually collaborated very it actually brought our whole life home. I love it.
Wow.
Hmm.
I like that a lot. I'm going to absorb this.
It brought us home.
It did bring us home with that Six of Cups, right back to
Hmm.
ourselves. And that is a liberating feeling in its own that we never really need any of the extra stuff to begin with.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. That's it. Yes.
That we're
It's
just
a
open right there to the divine
Mhm.
or that higher consciousness at any given time.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
really? Yeah.
whatever you want it to be. That's the beautiful thing about it all,
Yeah.
right?
It can be what you want it to be, but
Hmm.
don't feel like it has to go down any particular avenue or that you're going to find it outside of yourself. You just have to kind of stop and say, hello. And that's how it all begins.
I think I froze on my screen, but can you hear me still?
I can hear you. Yep, I can
Oh,
hear you.
okay.
Your
Okay,
music
cool.
level. So
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was great. We've been on for like 2 hours now. We gave them a lot of love, but Marcy, we can come back and do this again. I would love to.
I would love to too. I thank you everybody. Thank you, Ja. Uh,
Thank you, everyone. I hope
the
you have a wonderful. Yeah, we'll do this again, guys. Me, Marcy, and I will come back. We'll do more readings, more psychologicals. We'll open everything up. We'll open the ethers up. We'll open the space up. I mean, Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, Chiron here in Cancer, and
I,
then with Pluto and part of Fortune and Lilith in Scorpio, you know, and my Pisces, 8th house ruler, 12th house ruler, they're all talking to each other. All my water houses are talking. All my water placements are talking. You
no,
know?
it's definitely cool, Ja. I think we can learn a lot from each other.
Yeah, and then we have all this beautiful water here. And so we complement. We obviously do very well here in the ethers and in the waters. And I would love to hold space for everyone else who would love to join and cocoon them and participate in that with you. So um, the Majestic Magi and I will be holding some cocooning spaces more often and invite a space of healing and love and energetic exchange. So until next time, I talk to you. God bless you and later.